It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. Joint practices between the Titans and Bucs officially over at St. Thomas Sports Park. Up next, they will go to battle in a preseason game, Nissan Stadium, on Saturday, a 6 p.m. kickoff. Titans rookie wide receiver Treylon Burks was back today, got limited work in after leaving practice early yesterday, and Titans second-year corner Caleb Farley with an interception on Blaine Gabbert in team drills. Big news in the NFL as Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson will be suspended 11 games. That is from the NFL's appeal of the original 6-game suspension. He will also be fined $5 million. His first game back for the Browns at the Houston Texans in Week 13. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Happy Thursday to you. Happy Thursday to you. Titans and the old Buccaneers have wrapped up a second day of, I almost said Browns because everything is Browns on TV. They are not playing the Browns, and Deshaun Watson will not be playing for a while, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, 11 games, $5 million. We got to just at least say that till we get to talking about them.
11 games, $5 million. They must have a bye on week 12 because he keeps saying it's an 11-game suspension, but he can't come back until week 13.
And guess who they play? The Texans.
Yes.
The NFL is insane. They play the Texans, and he comes back.
How many times does stuff like that happen? Like Baker Mayfield and the Panthers played the Browns to lead off first game.
That would go wink-a-dink. How did they know he was going to get traded there?
I think there's some psychic working there, and they go down and they're like, hey, man, sorry, Madam Tussauds, why don't you do this? Rub your crystal ball and give us a couple things we need to schedule. Because this just happens too much in the NFL. It's just stupid, crazy stuff like this. But, of course, he comes back against the Texans. All right, we'll get to that. But Titans and Bucs, day 2. It was interesting because we get there, and I'm like, wait a second. They're just wearing helmets and shoulder pads today. It's shorts. So, like, think of what a football player looks like. They're just wearing their shorts, but helmets and shoulder pads. It didn't matter. Oh, my gosh. Like, dudes got after it. I know you saw a really big hit that involved a former Titan. Ooh. I watched the other field again. I saw some big hits, but it was not. They played like they had every pad on they could get.
Yeah, they were still thudding. I think they said thud up. Well, it was more than thud up. It was like, hey, man, we tackling. And if he goes down, oh, well. I'm not going to take him down, but I'm going to hit him down. So, just kind of going through the process before I start talking about the hit. Willis was running with the twos, which is kind of a big report. So I think they had a conversation with Woodside. We need to get him as much reps as possible and kind of see if he can continue to grow at the rate he's growing as a player at the quarterback position. So 707, he was just okay. I'm going to just give him okay. Maybe a little worse than that. But then, he got in the red zone. He has a big connection with Chig and then another one with Hilliard. So I thought he was improving. McMath had a drop. Farley had an interception. He had a comeback rebound day. As far as totality, I think you were on that field. I was still on the offensive side. So, all in all, I still want to say it was a little more even today. It's kind of hard to say who won or lost, at least with the first group. Tannehill at times had to hold on to the football, especially in the 2-minute drive. He would have been sacked a couple times. But
he actually got sacked on one of those.
So
it was sack down on the ground.
I would say it was even or maybe lean towards more Tampa Bay today in certain instances. They were talking smack a lot today out there. But the play I'm talking about, and it's really embarrassing to me if I was out there, and I don't know what year Logan Ryan is in. He's in 11. But a veteran guy who's a starter out there and a former Titan, by the way, and it's not supposed to be, no tackling. So they're doing the red zone there, or at least that's where they were, and Haskins catches the ball. And he's literally like at the 1-yard line. He is chugging. Like in the open field, it was a pass.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Ryan comes to kind of just try to thud him up. And like on the inch line, in the open field to the flat to the left, he might as well been on the spin cycle. He got hit so hard.
Did he do the John Elway?
He did a helicopter.
Ooh.
Yeah, he did a helicopter. Haskins had 10th year. He hit it. So that was, I played 10. He did a helicopter. He got hit so hard. As soon as I landed, I would have bounced off that ground and charged him. because he had plenty of space to go other places. It was definitely intentional by Haskins I'm sending a message, I'm running you over. And it was like, 2 or 3 yards in between them. So he saw him. So I think Logan thought he was just going to like thud up and it's just like, Tampa Bay versus Tampa Bay practice. No. I was like, whoa. And then he got up after the helicopter ride and just jogged his butt on up to the sideline. There's no way in nowhere and no how inside of my body that would have been okay. I would at least got up and pushed him. Ain't especially no rookie. So that tells me right there the intimidation factor is on the Titan side as far as the physicality just by that one play because nobody came to defend Logan Ryan. It was nothing. And there was a lot of pushing and shoving out there, mostly always revolving around somebody called Kong. I call him Kong now. Everybody else calls him Big Jeff.
Kong didn't play a whole lot, but every time Kong got in.
Why did Kong not play a lot?
Because every time he got in, it was some violence about to happen and pushing and shoving and fighting.
I told you they was going to come back. Those offensive linemen was going to come back. And somebody was going to say, no, not today. Not today. And that's exactly what was going on. People were pushing like, no, we don't get punked around here. We 300 pound too. You may be Kong and we may be baby Kongs, but we are not going to bow down. And so that's what happened. And the Titans had to pull the King Kong out every time something happened because he was not stopping. He was pointing at people, talking to people. I mean, it was a sight to see.
Yeah.
And guess what? I would have been like, hey, man, y'all better lead that dude. I told you what they should have done. They should have got that dude's number and said, hey, man, settle down.
And practice ended because I didn't realize how far he had come. There have been multiple reports. Leonard Fournette basically ran across the field to punch Kong, to punch Jeffrey Simmons. Then KJ Britt got involved, the linebacker for the Bucs, and then Vrabel got in the middle of it, and I think Byard tried to break him up.
Vrabel was all up in that when I saw him.
He's always in the middle of it.
And,
trying to break it up.
Oh, because it might have got way bad. Yeah, luckily he was there, to be honest, because I think that was the tipping point. Like, this is it. I'm about to go after people.
Yep.
And he was. Yeah, Don was about to destroy everything in its way,
like a city.
They right. That's how I was thinking too. Yes. Yeah, it is. The city would have been people. He would have just been vroo, like just throwing people, man. It was. I mean, so I know he had a couple of scuffles down there, and they yanked him out because it was just you knew they were going to come after. I told you they were. It was no way, and he wasn't going to back down. I knew it. He said we set the tone. That's why I was making fun of that. He was not playing. Yeah, he is not playing. Watch this. The NFL, other teams, they better watch out. This guy is now on a whole nother plane. His confidence level, he knows how good he is now, and he knows he can dominate games and destroy things. So I'm looking forward to just watching him. This is on the level of Albert Haynesworth, Defensive Player of the Year, except consistently. And Albert that year did it every single play, every game, and not 1 year and the next year kind of show flashes. This guy's grown to this, and it's about to happen. We're lucky to get to say that we get to watch this type of player. I mean, this is on my era. Javon Curse was kind of that special player. He that guy, and I've talked about it numerous times. This guy, especially, and they better leave this dude alone. I'm glad that's why they came out there with probably shoulder pads. They thought that would slow things down.
Yeah,
no,
it did not.
No, it would not. Not Jeff.
It didn't.
He plays like that all the time with pads on or not. As far as pants,
I can tell you this.
And then they kind of got to his legs a couple times too.
They kept him out of everything to start practice. So they ran, as far as I can tell, he ran one individual pass rush drill. He got blocked up pretty good, and then he went and took his helmet off. Like, hey, that's it. Go take your helmet off. So they go run a whole team period. He didn't do anything in the team period. So, again, 11 on 11. They run this pass rush drill for a little bit. So it started team period. Then they run the pass rush drill just for a little bit. He got one rep, take your helmet off. So they go back to team, put the ball on the 2-yard line. Okay. Jeff goes out there.
Oh, my.
First play, he's in the backfield and, just going at guys, and he wound up on his back. Now, I'm trying to watch where, the ball is going, and I look back, he's flat on his back, and I can see, the old lineman kind of over him, don't get up. So, whistles blow, and the old lineman, tries to get his hand, and he, like you were saying yesterday, maybe be nice to him. Try to make nice. Offensive lineman kind of offers him, knocks his hand out of the way, then he gets up on his own. And then it's then it's on again. Everybody, Then they go get me Jeff. No, sideline.
Go out.
Go out. You're out. Jeff, you're out. You're out. Jeff, you're out. So Jeff goes out. So he ran one play. So he's doing drills and stuff with his teammates, but he didn't do a lot. So at the end of practice, they do this 2-minute offense.
Mm-hmm. That's right over there, right where I was at.
So what was the second play? He tipped the ball, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm trying to find all my notes here, but on the second play of team, Jeff jumped up and tipped the ball in the air, and it looked like he was in the air. Somebody's like, "Oh, he's up in the air," and the next thing I know, he's on the ground, and the next thing I know, is a bunch of guys saying stuff to each other again.
Uh-huh.
Like you said, it's like, hey, you got us yesterday. We had to sit through that film session.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, we're getting you back today.
And that film session for those offensive linemen to try to block Jeff, it's not one, hey, man, y'all got to do a better job. It's a MF, bleep, 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 y'all going to let him do bleep, bleep, bleep. Who got some backbone? We about to see right now. It's time to grow up. I don't care what third string, center, fourth, it doesn't matter. I better grow some right here. This dude is not playing. Y'all better come out here with a different mindset. And so basically practice ended because of Jeff. Real talk. Bray was out there. I felt like he wasn't throwing punches, but he was trying to grab people, move them, and he had them long arms out there and was trying to push people. And, boy, he got it under control. He was not going to. So then they all broke up, and Tampa Bay went on the field, and they had a conversation. Nobody knows what was said there. But I figured that would happen. But all in all, I felt like, it was just an okay day. We got to see Willis make some really tight window throws in the red zone. So he threw a couple touchdowns. So it looked like he was really trying to be conscious of getting rid of the ball, trying to stay on time. Sometimes it worked, sometimes not. So I think the more and more he goes through this process, he'll continue to improve. That's what I'm looking for. So I want to watch him in a game in live action, see if that actually happens, and not just in practice. Got to, get it in a game. It was really, it was exciting to see. But Farley he got a pick. He got a pick at the end of one of the 2 minutes. It was a deep ball, and somebody ran a curl, and I think they were trying to throw it away, and he just floated up and went and got it. He's supposed to make that play, but hey, he made it. So hey, good job.
He made the pick. I went back and looked too. They ran one more series against the Titans 1 defense. It was 3 plays, and he had a PBU to end the whole thing and then the fight.
Oh, okay.
So they ran 3 last plays, and it looked like he and McCreary had a PBU. They had a real nice run. 29 is a rookie running back for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're talking about, Logan Ryan, where Haskins was like, I'm just going to hit you.
He had a bad day because Phillips abused him a couple times in one-on-ones.
Well, 29. The Bucs on the first team period against the Titans defense, and Vrabel talked about this, they ran like 8 straight run plays. And Titans made a play. Then 29 ran to the right, just between the guard and the tackle, gets loose. And one of the Titans DBs came up to tackle him, and he was like, okay. And he did the thing where he dipped his shoulder and then exploded into him, like trying to knock him off his feet. The running back did.
Yeah, we call that uncoiling.
He
uncoiled. Boom. Uh-huh.
So then it's a whole bunch of people came and had words about that, and he was expletive, I ain't expletive, you and your mama and them, and expletive, everybody, all them MF and expletive.
He was talking to Brett,
yeah. And so, and this was even without Big Jeff. Like, things escalated even without Jeff on that end, but he uncoiled on that particular play. But 29 had a nice run. They ran 2 more plays, 21 and 3. So McCreary and Farley kind of got. We were on the far sideline, and somebody said, I think you could have given both of them a PBU on that play. Like, both had their hands in. Then Farley ended it with a PBU. Mm-hmm. And then Fournette ran and punched Big Jeff.
Fournette ran and punched.
That's how it ended.
I was like, wow. They had no choice. It was over. I thought it was going to be another period, but
I did too.
Yeah, that was it.
They were like,
got to the edge.
We got to go.
People went over the top. It overflowed. It was done. So, hey. Real productive day still, though. Anybody stand out on the defensive side when you were over there more so than any other day besides Farley having a better day, a good day? We're just talking about secondary perimeter players. Anybody? What about What, did anybody get sacks? Like, was Dupree or Weaver? Anybody?
When they were
linebacker David Long, how's he doing over there? Cunningham?
David Long was like nose, face, always in on run plays. Every time you look, he's in the backfield, like in the pile. Everybody gets up. 51 is one of the last guys to get up, so he was at the bottom. He was part of that. I'll say this. The Titans didn't have a particularly good pass rush drill. They had 3 offensive linemen and 1 defensive lineman or linebacker would kind of like pick his guy and go at him and like try to get to the guy holding the ball who was, quote, unquote, the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And the Titans didn't have a particularly good period.
No, they said the defense started slow compared to yesterday.
So I'm kind of watching. Although Vrabel said that, and I thought the Titans' run defense looked good. No. Vrabel said, I didn't like the way they looked, and maybe they were getting a yard or two. Now, 29 got loose and then uncoiled on, maybe it was 38 of the Titans. But I was watching, like, trying to watch 7-on-7 and the individual pass rush drills at the same time. But I'll say this. They were like, let's go one more. Weaver. Rashad Weaver gets out there. The O-lineman never touched him. He went, like, at him hard to the right, and when guy committed to the right, he ran right past him to the left and ran right up on the guy with the ball. He would have obliterated the quarterback on that play. So I love that rep from Weaver. The Titans defensive linemen continue to be real active. In the team stuff that I saw, like Vrabel said, they didn't throw the ball. They just ran it. They just kept running it over and over and over. That's the thing. I guess they said, okay, we got to get better at running. So they ran. I didn't see Leonard Fournette. It was other guys.
Especially against the Titans, just because.
Who are great run defense.
Right. Well, also Vrabel, with the Titans team, just whether it's offense or defense, it's going to be physical.
Yep.
So if you can run the ball on the Titans, you can run the ball against anybody. And I think that's what Tampa Bay was like, okay, this may happen, and we may have to run the ball a little bit more, especially if Tom's not here, or just to protect Tom a little bit at times and trying to, run the clock out. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was, I mean, like Caleb Farley had a nice run stop. Cunningham had a nice run stop. I mean, there were several, I know we got to go. One of the other things, 29 earlier in that same drill where he uncoiled, he tried to punch somebody at the end of a play and he missed. Nobody saw it. They were kind of scrumming at the end of the play and he wound up and took a full punch and just missed. So guy was like, hey, but he didn't connect, so it didn't amount to anything. He took a full punch at somebody and they were far enough away I couldn't tell. I even wrote in my notes, 29 missed a punch.
While he was running the ball?
Yes, after a play. Like, just kind of in the scrum, he got up and, like, put the ball down and tried to.
That don't sound too smart. I mean, people got on helmets.
No, you kids never punch anybody with a helmet on. It was Chance Campbell he tried to punch, the rookie linebacker. That's who, and he just missed him completely. I'm
just telling y'all, I know I'm joking and Kong and Big Jeff and all this other stuff, man. I've seen people literally rip a face mask off the hinges of a helmet. And not like just one time. I've seen that multiple times when it got into some skirmishes. Ooh. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Some people just don't understand how strong these individual people are.
Well, we need to rip the face mask off segment number 2 of the show. We will do that with Chelsa Messinger, the betting expert from the Daily Tip. She was great last week. She's joining us next here on Blaine and Mickey. Get some bets lined up.
A lot of employees really don't want to see you or talk to you, but they know they have to because their paycheck depends upon it. You can see it in their expression. It's like you can almost hear them say, here comes another problem, and that's putting it nicely. Ever been treated that way by an auto repair shop? Tired of getting the runaround only to get the runaround again? Well, come on over to Eurofix. Eurofix repairs everything European. And owner Aaron Stokes once said, being ignorant made me successful. And what he meant was, when you don't know any better, no idea what your competition is doing, when you provide the best you can, success will come. And that was in 1999. And over 2 decades later, Eurofix offers a free 15-minute no-wrench evaluation, a free rental car with reservation on every repair, and a free nationwide 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on all repairs. And you can drop in with no appointment necessary. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, Monday through Friday. Or you can just visit them online at myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com. But always tell them Blaine, did ya?
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. We're big on social graces. You can slip on down to our Oasis every day from 1 to 3. How about that for a Garth Brooks
That was
back end, Brett
fantastic.
Batchelor?
That was well done by you.
Brett, thank you, sir. Brett Batchelor hanging out with Lucas. Lucas is back in with an armload of food. He just came in and offered
just teasing.
bite of his sandwich.
Yeah, this pound cake and everything.
Pound cake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He looked like he just came from the beach or something. He got a little glossy tan.
Chelsa Messinger, maybe she just came from the beach, or maybe she's eating lunch like Lucas, or both. Chelsa joins us now, of course, from the Daily Tip. She is a gambling expert that we like having on the show. Chelsa, what are you up to right now? I understand you've had a busy day so far.
Yeah, this is my third show that I've been on today. I've been up since 3:30 a.m., as I always am, because I do a show 5 to 8 a.m., 3 hours of sports betting talk, which I love doing, but it's already been a very busy day.
Oh, my goodness. I know you had a little one. I thought maybe you'd been up doing mom stuff since 3, but you've been up doing betting stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's how my day
That's
is.
the baby right there. I don't know.
Yeah, I start my day looking at the lines and the prices and how they move throughout the day, so it is a full-time gig.
What is the single? I'll give you an example. We had our friend Jordan DeJani on yesterday. He's with CBS Sports, and he can answer questions about lots of things, and we'll ask him some gambling questions. Somebody bet like $1,500 on Will Fuller to lead the NFL in touchdown catches. He's not on a team right now, but it greatly changed his odds. It's amazing to me sometimes when you see one bet that could literally change the odds so greatly for everybody like that.
Well, because the books aren't projecting what they think the outcome is going to be. They put the line at where they think they're going to draw the most two-sided action. Ooh. So sometimes if they're saying, say, the Lions 6.5 games and that's their win total, they're not saying that they think that the Lions are going to get 6 or 7 wins. They are saying that's the line where we're going to see the most two-way action, and they're covering liabilities. That's why when you're betting on the most publicly bet teams, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, in baseball like the Yankees and the Dodgers, you're never going to get a good price because they're always pricing them because more people like to bet on those teams. So keep that in mind when you're betting on the best teams in football, in baseball, in whatever sport you're betting on.
Getting some real information here from Chelsa Messinger, who joins us. All right, Titans and Bucs on Saturday. Probably no Tannehill. We know no Derrick Henry. Tom Brady is Lord knows where. How are you looking at this game on Saturday?
God, I have to do preseason games?
Come on,
This is the worst.
I was going to ask
Just
you, like,
one? Come on.
How do you do preseason games? Like, I mean, especially they're scoring a lot of points, too, by the way. Well, at least last week.
Well, the totals were so low because last week all the totals were in the 30s, and the books have corrected themselves, and all the totals are closer to 40 this week. But the one I will say tonight between the Bears and the Seahawks, that total has already dropped 1.5 points. It was 41.5. Now it's down to 39.5. Because if you remember, the totals on Bears games last season were usually in the 40s for regular season games because their offense is so god-awful. So I think that's the one where maybe an under is still in play. I know there's a quarterback competition going on in Seattle, but still, if you take away the deep balls that they had last year for DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, and you take away Russ, that was most of their offense. It was a very pedestrian offense that was kind of like in the 1990s. So that's the only preseason game that really sticks out to me. But other than that, like, it really is a crapshoot, and I would not advise anybody to put a ton of money on, the Titans and Bucs on Saturday.
There you go. Real-life advice from Chelsa Messinger, at Chelsa Messinger, who joins us now on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, Chelsea, now that the verdict is out on Deshaun Watson and Cleveland Browns, how much did that impact, if at all, the odds on them maybe making the playoffs, or how many games they may win, or anything? Just kind of take us through how that affected the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, it was already kind of built into the price because the books weren't really expecting for the Browns to do much. And if you look at that division, it's almost less to do with Deshaun Watson and more to do with the strength of the AFC North. Look at the Bengals. They just went to the Super Bowl. Look at the Ravens. They're actually favored to win that division. So I think the only thing that might be the X factor is that the Browns start off really easy. Their schedule is an absolute cakewalk to start the season. I believe they have the Panthers, the Jets, the Steelers, and the Falcons. So the first 4 games of the season should be pretty easy. Jacoby Brissett is a fine, stand-in quarterback. And plus, I think the X factor that nobody's talking about when Deshaun Watson comes back is he going to be rusty. It has been a long time since he has played in a regular season NFL game, and we saw him like a tiny bit in the preseason. What was he, 105 for 7 yards? So, yeah, like he was a great player back then, but there might be some rust.
And by the way, who is he playing? The Texans when he comes back. Only fitting that the NFL made that happen, right? They planned that, didn't they?
Yeah, they know what they're doing. We laugh, but we know exactly what they're doing. I think the only impact you can make for the Browns from like a fantasy or props perspective, they're probably going to lean on Nick Chubb a little bit more. And like I said, the schedule is very easy the first 4 games of the season. So would expect some big numbers from Nick Chubb first half of the season because they do have a good run attack. I'll give them that.
Well, naturally, kind of take us through what you look at that first week of the NFL and maybe that some trends that you start seeing through the preseason to kind of help you come up with some of these trends, or do you even do anything like that?
I just saw a trend, and I wish I had it in front of me, how divisional underdogs actually perform really well in the first week of the season. So if you're looking at a team who's playing another team in their division, which I'm trying to find one, but we see that in the AFC South all the time, where people who do not follow a team on a regular basis, they say, oh, the Titans should, beat up on the Texans and beat them by, 21. That's not always the case. I feel like there's something with divisional underdogs that's usually a strong play if they're getting a lot of points.
Is it always a good play? Because they're always going against the Titans here the last couple of years that they wouldn't win and that the Colts would win. So is that a good bet to bet that the Titans win the AFC South, or is that a little too risky?
Well, here's the thing. The Titans never get any love from the national media. And we've talked about this before, how the Titans are amazing when nobody expects them. Last season, they were 6-2 straight up and against the spread as underdogs, being some of the best teams in the NFL. So the problem is, I don't know how to quantify this, but the Titans, when everybody counts them out, that's usually when they're at their best. And everybody's counting them out to win the AFC South this season because they were favored to win the AFC South. Now they're underdogs. Now it's all about the Colts. It's all about Matt Ryan. But I feel like we've heard this story before, have we not?
No doubt about it. I know you. Do you do college football as well? Because I want to ask you. I know it's it's a little small spread, but I'm really interested in this Tennessee versus Ball State. Since I was a Ball State graduate, I think it was around 30 long a while back. But is it gotten bigger?
I have no idea. I'm not going to lie. I have not circled that one on the calendar.
That should be the number one game that you're looking for.
I tell you what, I have looked at, I think Vanderbilt's laying 7 points against Hawaii. And I thought to myself, Vanderbilt laying points against anybody, especially going on the road to Hawaii, what are we doing here? Unless I don't know something about Vanderbilt football, go ahead and come at me. Maybe I'm wrong here. But I don't know. That one did jump off the page to me.
Chelsa Messinger, from host of the Daily Tips, as well as the National Sports Betting radio show on Odyssey.
All right, let's talk about Treylon Burks as potential Rookie of the Year. Maybe what do you think about him, and who else do you like?
Yeah, all of the love is going towards George Pickens right now. Now he has moved to the favorite to win this award. And I think the big question mark is, well, who's throwing to him? Can he make all these big, prolific plays if he doesn't have a dynamic quarterback throwing him the ball? Because that's where I think Treylon Burks has the advantage. Because I know the national narrative is that Ryan Tannehill sucks. Everybody says that. But, I would still put him way above what they have for the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh. So I think you do have to consider that. If you're looking at the history of the award, 6 of the last 12 Rookie of the Years on the offensive side have been quarterbacks. And so it's been split pretty evenly. It's not quite as tough to win it as, say, MVP. But I think he has a good shot, especially if you think that it sounds like he's doing really well in practice that I've heard. I'm not at training camp every day. I'm not sure because I know you guys are, but certainly a guy with high potential. I think it's anybody's race.
One of the things you sent me when we were setting up the appearance, it was a bet you really liked for over on receiving yards, right? A certain Chiefs tight end.
Yeah, I like a lot of tight end props. I like
You like
Travis
tight
Kelce
ends.
go over 1,000 over 1,000 yards this season. He's hit this number in 6 straight seasons. Why would you start fading him now? I know everybody's going to say, well, Tyreek Hill's gone, and I know they work in concert together because one's a deep ball threat, one's over the middle, and obviously that works well with the offense. But you're still talking about a quarterback in Patrick Mahomes that I think can get him the ball. You're still talking about one of the best offensive minds in the NFL and Andy Reid. I think they'll find a way to use their best weapon on the offense. I think he goes over. I think Mark Andrews for the Ravens is a guy that nobody's talking about. He had over 1,300 receiving yards last season and continues to be the number one guy for the Ravens. If you look at the rest of the receivers on that roster, I think they have combined for like 1,200 total career yards. That's less than what Mark Andrews had last season by himself. So you talk about target share. I think he's going to be the guy for the Ravens once again this season.
My Titans prop for you, Austin Hooper is going to catch 65 6-yard passes this year. You can just take that and make money on it. Chelsa Messinger, our guest here on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, you're talking about players of the year. I'm just interested in see on the defensive side, since I was a defensive guy, what are the numbers for the guys leading the fort? And is Big Jeff Simmons, is he even in the radar of it?
I don't think so, and I feel like he should. Man, he's been a great draft pick, right? I think we swung and missed on a few of our draft picks, but he was a good one. I think some players to watch is possibly Khalil Mack, a former NFL Defensive Player of the Year, going to a new team now. Also, maybe a sprinkle on Chandler Jones. If you're a Titans fan, you remember him pretty well because he sacked the Titans 5 times in the first game of the season last year with the Cardinals. He's now with the Raiders, who are running a different style of offense. I forget the change that they're making, but it's the offense that he's used to running in Arizona, so I think they'll lean heavily on him. If he can make a presence for himself in the AFC West, a quarterback-driven league or a quarterback-driven division, I think he can make some noise for NFL Defensive Player of the Year as well.
And naturally, I have to then ask you the Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, that's a tough one because it's not just quarterback. Usually the Offensive Player of the Year is a running back or a skill guy. Cooper Kupp is a guy that normally jumps off the page, because it's going to be hard for him to replicate what he did last season because he ran the Triple Crown for receivers. That's not something you see every day. God, do you want to talk me off Derrick Henry? Do you want to say that he's not going to get the target share this year? Because that's the thing. I know he's coming off an injury, but look at the NFL running backs across the board. Who's going to get more of a target share than Derrick Henry? Because it seems like the Titans are going to run the football, whether the other team knows it's coming or not. That just seems to be the identity of the Titans. So, it's a homer pick, but I don't care.
All right, right. Well, cool. That's always cool with us. But I guess give us lastly for me, and that is Super Bowl odds and where are you at with that? Who give us the top 3 odds from AFC, NFC?
Yeah, I think my long shot play to win the Super Bowl is going to be the LA Chargers. Looking at their defense, that was their problem last year. They could not stop the run last season. They had excellent quarterback play from Justin Herbert, had the second most yards in the NFL, and a lot of times it was just the Chargers charging. Isn't that the quote? Because late in the games, just things would just fall apart for him. And you've got to remember that Brandon Staley's a young coach too. So I think he has some room for improvement. Their defense just got a whole lot better. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, J.C. Jackson, Derwin James. You're talking about a defense that got eons better during the offseason. So I really like the Chargers, and especially when you have a young quarterback who people are comparing to Aaron Rodgers and saying he's a bigger version of Aaron Rodgers. I think I like my chances there. I'll take the Chargers 14-1 to win the Super Bowl.
Ooh. Got to get out of that tough division, man. That's going to be a crazy one to watch. Chelsa, great stuff. Thanks for educating us again. Can't wait to talk to you again. Let everybody know all the places they can find you and the stuff that you do.
Yeah, if you want to watch the show and you're up very early, it's 5 to 8 a.m. Central Time, the Daily Tip, wherever you get your Odyssey stuff. It's on the free Odyssey app, or you can just download the podcast. If you're not up that early, just search the Daily Tip wherever you get your podcast. And I tweet out a bunch of stuff too. At Chelsa Messinger is my handle on Twitter. So, yeah, there you have it.
And you also appear in cut-ins on this station. Like last week, as soon as you left the show, which it may happen again today, you have a betting cut-in that comes on our station so people can hear you all the time on here. Oh, it's coming up next? So you'll hear yourself next on here. How about that?
Just make sure you tune in.
Yeah, that's the Beckwell 5-star play of the day. So those are the computer plays, but I am the voice for it. So, yeah, thanks for having me on, though. Really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. We'll talk soon at Chelsa Messenger. When we come back, a lot of talk about the day that Caleb Farley had. What did Mike Vrabel say about the day that Caleb Farley had? We'll have that next. Blaine and Mickey.
You know,
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. You want to talk about anything today? Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline is open, 615-737-1045. Caleb Farley, interesting day for him. I did get a nice pass rush or a pass breakup from him on Julio Jones. They ran right at me and split me at the end of the play. You see it on my Twitter at Mickey Ryan 1045.
They split you in half?
They split themselves in half because they didn't want to run over the tiny person behind the goal line or behind the end zone. But a lot of talk about Caleb Farley in this camp, and he doesn't have the most experience. He's had a lot of injuries, so so far, he's been on the field a lot. He gets reps with the ones. I noticed
He's been available.
He's been available. And one of the best abilities is availability. My goodness. I used to think of the old Frank Wycheck. You can't make the club in the tub.
In the tub. Yeah, boy.
And he stayed out of the
those
tub.
conversations, especially vets that you're talking about, and that's why the pressure to play is coming from you internally, because if you're not available, you're giving a shot to someone else, regardless if they're as good as you or not. They could cut pay, could be move on just because may not be as good, but we can get by with that guy. So and that's the way it is. And he's a young player, so the more reps he does and the more comfortable he gets out there with the way his body is structured after those injuries and surgeries, I think we're going to continue to see him grow and improve. And he's going to have some up and downs. I'm sure he's still a young player who has a lot of upside. So if he could stay healthy, continue to get the reps, he's going to get better. He was a lot better today compared to yesterday. So we saw it. He made adjustments and figured it out. Let alone the coaching that they have at each position group, which is really fundamentally sound by the coaching staff. So I really appreciate that, especially watching what they do in individuals and their drills to continue to grow as players. That was kind of a lost art. Once you get into the NFL, it's more teaching you about the game plan and more so than teaching you all the technical things to stay on top of your fundamentals. And I think that's what Vrabel and those guys do.
Vrabel actually talked about Caleb Farley, and they did a 2-minute type drill at the end of practice today. Farley had an interception to end one of the Chiefs' possessions, had a couple of PBUs to end basically the final drills of these 2 days of practice, and Mike Vrabel talked about what he's seeing from the second-year Titans cornerback after practice.
Absolutely. From what I saw, I think he was, again, he comes in with a great attitude every single day. I mean, he's had a long rehab. And he spent a lot of time in this building in the offseason, and he wants to be good. He wants to help us. He wants to define a role for himself. And I think he was exhausted. I think he was excited about coming out here and practicing. And, I mean, early on in practice, he looked like he was worn out. We've talked about that to our entire team about making sure that, we're not so anxious about the practice or the game that's going to happen. We have to be able to stay neutral, stay in the moment, and then execute when the ball snaps. We have to save every ounce of energy that we have for the play.
Got exhausted. I always used to wonder about that. Everybody wants to play on national TV, but if you play at noon, it's like get up, get your game face on, have your breakfast, whatever it is that you eat or don't eat in the morning, but you get to the stadium and then you just get into your rhythm. You sit around till 7, 8 o'clock at night. I would lose my mind, especially on the road, just in the hotel. I would be like, I got to get on the first bus. I want to go to the stadium now.
I'm going to tell you, for me, it was on the road was better. Because you're always like, oh, man, I want to play on Monday night, especially when you first get in the league. You're young. You're pumped up. I want to play in a TV game. I want all my friends and family and everybody to watch. And, hopefully you have a good game, right? But then you start realizing how your change of your routine is now different. And you really start going, oh, man, I don't know if I really like this. And so you kind of program yourself to kind of sleep in, maybe watch a little film or watch a movie, during that time you're off, or you maybe watching another game or something, whatever you, just to kind of relax and get away from football, then come back in, late afternoon to, get ready for the game. Because if you get a little consumed, that kind of builds up, adrenaline and everything else, nerves that you don't need. So you had to get adjusted to it. To your point, man, I completely agree with that. As much as I wanted it, and then afterwards, after being in the league 2 or 3 years, like man, we're playing in the Green Bay, and it takes us an hour to get to the airport, and then we're gonna finish at midnight, and then shower. We're gonna get home at 4 a.m. People never take that. It's just like, oh man, and then you go, oh well, you got to check in, especially if you got an injury. Even if you nicked up, you almost want to say you're not nicked up. If it's like, something you just need to ice, you're like, I'm ice at home, man.
Right.
Yeah, don't come in till Wednesday. See you Wednesday. Well, I know because today is Tuesday already. So those things do happen, even if it's a Thursday night or a Sunday night. It kind of throws you off. We're a creature of a habit, and that kind of throws you off. But you forget about all that once the lights click on and everything else. So it is still exciting to kind of reach a point where, you got to accomplish something that you maybe thought was far out there and you would never achieve. And that was playing in the National Football League, let alone on those big, bright lights, on national TV.
Man, everybody dreamed. I noticed this today. I know we got to go to break, but I thought about you because Tyree Gillespie was out there, the new safety.
Oh, from the Raiders that they traded.
He was wearing
for.
25. Did you see his arm?
No, I saw he had a brace on when he went into the facility.
A club, full club, like you had.
Oh, so he had like one of those wrist black braces you get like at the
Right.
doctor's office.
Right,
You
or Walgreens.
Where like the guys, the bowlers wear, like almost look
Yes.
like that. So I knew something was up.
They had that rascal like the Blaine Bishop Club today.
Oh, man, did he utilize it?
And well, I mean, hey, man, I just got here. Where's my suit? He put me out there. That dude was out there a bunch.
Yeah, I think he's got some upside to him. Just need to work on playing in space deep and not being too aggressive when you're back there. Understand scheme and system embedded in him because he's an aggressive-natured player. Reminds me of myself, and it took me a minute to say I had to be patient, stay in my pedal for cover two.
Right.
And I'm in the hole. Don't get too aggressive. Peyton Manning got me my first time in the hole. Pump fake right and come back right down the seam, right where I'm supposed to be.
Oh.
I got it. Oh, I'm gonna go get it. Boom. Nope. I'm supposed to be right there.
Got you, Blaine.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. I said that'll never happen again.
All right, hour number 2 will happen again. It'll happen next. Open phone lines. Jeff in Clarksville wants to talk about the Titans defense. Jeff Hull will get to you. Lines are open, 615-737-1045. We hear from Derrick Henry about workload. We got all kinds of stuff coming up. A lot of Titans talk in the second hour. Also do need to get into this Deshaun Watson stuff a little bit. There is a judgment that has been handed down, an appeal judgment on Watson. We'll get into that as well at some point in the second hour. It's Blaine and Mickey.
The King.
3, 2, 1. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone, 202 in the Music City, and you are listening.
202. You saw Toa.
202. I did not see
Toa.
Toa.
I did not see. I saw a lot of people tweeting about that documentary. I'm sure.
Oh, that's
I'm
Teo.
sure.
Manti Te'o?
Yeah, but Teo. I'm sorry.
Henry, you think of Henry To'oTo'o?
I've mixed
Henry
the two.
Teo.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Toa.
happened to him too. He got confused.
Ia Maliava.
That was a horrible story, though. Good Lord.
I hear that documentary is insane.
De La Nakakua.
I haven't seen it yet.
Jimmy Wyatt makes an appearance.
What?
Yeah, because there's a clip. I saw it on social media, a clip of Teo at
He put
the combine.
he put his thing on
in his
there,
trademark Dodgers cap up there, just putting
his
the recorder on the
up there.
podium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
People who don't know, this dude was a linebacker at Notre Dame. Went to the Heisman ceremony. Remember that?
Yeah.
I remember very well.
It went to the Heisman ceremony and dedicated his season, had an unbelievable season to his mother and his girlfriend.
His grandmother.
His grandmother and his girlfriend who had died. And people started hearing some fishy stuff and looking into this. And then this dude's whole world came crashing down. He got catfished.
Yeah, that was horrible.
He got catfished by somebody.
Unbelievable.
Fake girlfriend. And now there's a documentary about it. There won't be any documentaries, I don't think, about Titans practice
It
today
should be a documentary about
against
Big
the
Jeff.
Bucs. Big Jeff.
It should be a documentary about Kong and the way Logan Ryan got spun around like a helicopter.
So Blaine saw Logan Ryan get a big hit on
He got hit.
Hassan Haskins just blasted him running into the end zone when they could have avoided. You said it's one of those plays where they could have easily avoided any type of contact, but Haskins was like, I ain't avoiding nothing.
Mm-mm.
I'm about
He
to
could
hit.
at least gave him, that forearm shiver or uncoil. He tried to take his manhood.
So let me ask you that.
I'm sorry, man.
I'm sure Logan Ryan got up and he speared him, and then 2 or 3 Bucks jumped in and speared him, right?
No, that would have been the Blaine Bishop. That was not Logan Ryan. That guy wouldn't have. I don't care if I was just biting on his shoes, his knees. He would have.
So nobody speared anybody after that? I was on the other field.
Logan Ryan just ran off the field. It was like next ref for somebody because they scored. He caught like a flat route.
So it's a 10-year vet and a rookie did that to him, and nobody speared him?
Because he was on the perimeter.
Okay.
Yeah, it might have. I don't think it was 7-on-7. It might have been, but I just couldn't believe. I was so in awe that he didn't respond. Like he didn't even get up and push him and hey man, what are you doing, man? Dang, what are you?
I mean, at least push. Not in my house.
Yeah, you ain't doing that to me.
No.
Mm-mm.
It just happened in his house.
And when I saw that,
Yeah.
I said, the Titans are the more physical team. It's over. When you do that to another grown man, I don't care if it's 7-on-7, no thud up and all that. That's the way Jeff was over there acting yesterday, and then that's why they was coming at him today. And they was like, nope, we're going to stand up to you, and you can't get us all. See, I told you they were going to gang up on him. Offensive linemen, they are tight. Hey, man, he embarrassed us. He embarrassed one of us. He embarrassed all of us. That's why you got to be careful. You better leave them dudes alone. Them dudes, they eat steaks for snacks. So, yeah, you don't be messing with these guys.
I've never told you this story. You know me. I'm like the most low-key guy. My junior year of high school, I was practicing basketball, and they moved this guy ahead of me at point guard. And I had to guard that guy every day in practice. And that guy, he's a pretty good basketball player. He kept elbowing me. And I said, that's it. No more.
See?
And he elbowed me again.
Everybody got their limits, even the mixer.
I went after this guy like an animal, Blaine. I went after him like an animal. Like the coach, what's going on to you?
Yeah,
and I was
your
like,
competitive spirit, you couldn't control it, huh?
I kept telling him, you better stop that.
You stole something from me. You stole my spot.
Well, he stole my spot. And then he kept elbowing me. Had an injury to insult. I went at that guy. I mean, tempers are hot. Big Jeff went after everybody. They just told Jeff, you're not going to do much today.
But they were trying to protect him from him.
From him.
Mm-hmm. Because he may have hurt one of them.
Because everybody's got to push it. Everybody's got that that's the final button. You just pressed it. Well, literally, practice ends today. Jeff didn't do a whole lot in team. Now, he got a couple reps in the final team. He jumped up, batted the ball, and somebody got him down low, and so he's on the ground, and then everybody's in each other's face. I couldn't tell who it was, but the Bucs reporters told me after practice, Leonard Fournette basically ran at the end of practice to punch Big Jeff, to punch him.
I don't even think he dressed yesterday. Did he? I didn't remember seeing him.
I shot a video of him warming up in individuals with no helmet on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't think he did anything.
No, I only saw him with no helmet on. He ran I saw Alex Apple actually tweeted this, and the Bucs reporter said it was Fournette who started it. He ran to punch Jeff Simmons. He ran to punch him, and then KJ Britt got involved, and then like Vrabel was right in the middle trying to break it up like he always seems to be.
Well, here's what happens. The offensive linemen, their coaches is getting after them yesterday about what Jeff did to them, right? Well, in the other meetings on the offensive side, they see it too and go, man, dang, we can't be letting this guy do this. This is just one guy. Because he's a problem.
He's a problem.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem for every NFL team. People don't understand he is hitting his prime, and it's on the way up. We're about to watch something really special over the next at least 2 or 3 years.
Well, it's 2 if they don't fix this contract situation.
I hope it's like 5 or 6.
Right.
So I already said I'd give him $100 million. Hey, man.
4 for 100 right now.
Especially it's not my money.
4 for 100 or 5 for 100?
$20 million a year.
5.
Yeah.
How much guaranteed?
All of it. $100 million.
If he'll sign 5 for 20, all of it guaranteed?
Well, I was joking, but he got to at least be at $70 million. He got to be somewhere. I mean, 50, 60, 70.
You GM.
You see how I changed?
Yeah, you softened up as a GM for Big Jeff because God only made one Big Jeff.
Generational talent.
Yeah.
It's just that's you don't be messing around. Like Aaron Donald, I'm gonna retire. He's not retiring. That's negotiations. He was never gonna retire.
Oh.
Well, you know if they removed him from that defense, they go, man, we got a big. It starts with the A, and then you say Hole.
Aaron Hole.
In our defense. That's just what the Titans would be saying too. Dude.
Jeff Hole.
Yeah. You do not be messing around with these special, gifted, talented players. So yeah, I wouldn't be messing around. They're not in a rush because, but at the end of the day, man, I gotta take care of the ones that's carrying the fork for us. He's the fork. Dude. He is our version of, when I say special, and I said this before, Javon Curse. He, in not the same position, but I'm talking about special generational talent. Is there. And they knew it. They thought they got to steal. He was they said he would have been a top 5 pick. And now it's all come to fruition. It's all playing back, and they're exactly right.
You didn't have to pay Isaiah anything. Panda, because he's gone. That saved you some money right there.
And the reason why I say I would do it, I'd do it sooner or later because the price is going to continue to grow.
Oh, no, it's going to go up.
Yeah. And then we're going to be like, dang, I wish we would have signed for $100 million.
5 for 20. 20 each. 5 for 20. 70 guaranteed. Jeff,
ain't no way. There's no way he would walk away from that. He's not.
It's
not
generational money.
Right. Yeah. It's just, what is he? I don't even know what he's making. He's in the 4th year of his deal. So he's probably, $2 or $3 million maybe? I know it's all relative, but it is. Then you go from 2 to 20. Yeah. That's a lot of cheddar.
Yeah.
And if I'm him, I'm take that. You gonna hurt yourself in 2 years? You're gonna make nah. But maybe I'll put some out where I can get out and get more. Or if I'm bald, they'll redo. They'll take care of me. They take care of me now.
Remember they redid Jarrell's contract a couple times when he balled ahead of his contract.
And you know what? I love me some Jarrell. But guess what? Jarrell ain't Big Jeff.
Yeah.
Watch this. Jarrell is not Kong.
Speaking of Jeff, we talked a lot about Big Jeff.
And I'm saying that only because of how strong he is. He's annihilating grown men that are really good players.
300-plus pound people. Let's talk to Jeff in Clarksville about Big Jeff or whatever he wants to talk about. Jeff, welcome into the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. What's going on?
This is King.
Jeff, you there?
What if it's Big Jeff?
Can you hear?
We can hear you,
Jeff.
Good.
Hey, man, I'm so glad this wasn't Big Jeff.
Yeah, Blaine, I got a question for you. Last year, I clamored a lot about. I thought Jim Schwartz was the big reason the defense got so much better.
Yeah.
I don't know if Anthony Midget might not be up there now with the way the secondary's playing. And yesterday, y'all were talking about naming Big Jeff King Kong. Let's take the King off. We got one King. We don't need another King.
Oh, that's good. You're right. We got King and Kong. We got King and Kong. Good. I'm glad you put me right where I need to be. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, Kong sounds a whole lot meaner.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the name of the movie too, Kong. That was the last one.
He needs a little love.
Okay, he racked himself. He's gone.
Well, he made his point though. He's right. We got the King, and now we got Kong. We got King on offense. We got Kong on defense. and now we need Wing Wong.
Do you think Derrick Henry? There's a picture of Derrick Henry I took. He was signing his shoe. Did I ask you this already? Do you think he looks bigger than?
Oh
he
yeah,
did?
you did. Yeah, he did. His arms are bigger, and nothing else. But that his guns, like those things look like somebody said, like it's like he took some spinach and Popeye the Sailor Man. They poofed up. That's what it looks like. I mean, I'm just jokingly, but I'm serious. I'm sure he had more time to work out because he wasn't playing, and then he had this whole. I mean, so yeah, man, he was ahead of the curve on his workouts because he was working out when he was injured. Like, you hurt your foot. It's not like you can go do leg exercises, so you're doing arms.
Yeah.
So those things are huge.
He never
like,
skipped an
He
arm.
look like he put that thing around your neck, and like you may not be able to breathe.
Oh, it's like a python.
Yeah, it's huge. They are huge. I can't wait to see him run. I don't know when they're gonna. I'd rather for him be in a scrimmage than an actual game, based off what I was saying, earlier this week. I don't know if it's going to be this week, but I want to see him in some contact at some point in time during these scrimmages.
Well, he's out of time this week, so it'd have to be against the Cardinals next week.
Mm-hmm. I got to get. I want to see King Kongum.
Well, we're out there every day. It's just for anybody who's doubting, I don't doubt that guy.
Look, and I play with a massive human being at running back in Eddie George. I think he makes him look a little tight, small. With them guns, Eddie was impressive, but I think King has outdone him as far as the intimidation factor. Like, you run on the field and you go, dang. If I was running the field, I'd be like, well, he's bigger than I thought he was, based off the film. Mm-hmm. So then I would be going into the locker room and put on my helmet and start banging my head on the locker
just to prepare
for the King.
And here's the thing,
because it's like this is going to be different. You better be ready and have your plan for that straight on, for the run over, all of his moves. You better be ready.
Remember when Darius Leonard, now Shaquille Leonard, he changed his name. Remember he's Shaquille Leonard now. That's a real thing. Lucas can back me up on it.
For the coach?
Yeah, he's not Darius Leonard anymore. He was one of those things like Garantano where he's like, actually, my name's not Darius. It's Shaquille. Isn't that right? He's Shaquille Leonard.
It's Shaquille now.
Whoa. How do you go from – he changed his whole entire name. I mean, he changed his whole entire name.
Apparently that's like what his mother calls him and has always called him. It's like his family name. For whatever reason, he was Darius, but he's going with the name that like his family has called him his whole life.
No. Is this on his birth certificate?
I have
Guess
no
what?
idea.
People in my family call me Woody.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, my name is Woody Bishop. I'm going to go by that now. They're going to be like, man, is that your name? That's a nickname that they give you that you know, people call you off the streets now. What is your name?
Well, you got Robbie Anderson changing it from Robbie with a Y to Robbie with an IE at the end. But at least that won't trip up any broadcasters, But how many play-by-play broadcasters, that's who I'm thinking of in this season, is going to say, tackle by Darius, Shaquille Leonard. Like, you're going to hear that week in and week out with the Colts.
Well, I'm going to give you a hint. This is why I don't do broadcasting. I'll be just hollering people's last names. I'm not going to be saying the whole total name anyway. Darius Leonard, unless it's the quarterback.
It's Shaquille Leonard.
Yeah, that I'm never. Yeah.
Well, remember he had to play last year
where he tried to punch the ball. Well, he
him.
said that he knew it was a risk reward to that.
Oh, it was already no reward.
Mm-hmm.
The reward was he got trucked. All right,
he'd been out. He's had a back surgery, an ankle or something. What hadn't he? He hadn't been practicing with the Colts.
Yeah,
Bubba and Dixon called in to let us know Shaquille is actually his middle name.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I knew. So so it is on his back. See, okay. Yeah, that's a little. You can't be just changing your name.
All right, Phil in Portland, don't change your name. We'll come back to you next. We'll hear from Derrick Henry about workload. He talked about that today. It's coming up next on Woody and Mickey.
Yeah. Oh.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Rocking down the highway on a Thursday. Lucas Panzica at the controls. Blaine Bishop is here. Mickey Ryan is here. You are here. Thank you for joining us. If you're new to town and you don't know this,
We may have Rhett Brown on, too, by the way.
you didn't know that for sure.
Yeah.
But if you're new to town, you're new to this show. Not only is Blaine Bishop a 10-year NFL player, multiple Pro Bowler. So if you didn't know this, he is. That's why we asked Blaine all these football questions. The other thing is this. I was at the bus stop this morning, and one of the dads comes up. He goes, man, how's Traylon Burks? I saw that he went off the field yesterday. I saw that he went off the field. Is he okay?
Oh, I was so happy he was out there today.
And I said, when he was out there today, and I said, you're in luck. I said, I do a radio show every day with Tennessee's foremost groin expert. Like nobody knows more about groins.
I thought that's what he did.
I know. I told
But he
him.
had a sleeve on his knee. So
On his groin?
It was his knee. But, the Dr. Bishop in me that has no degree of any kind as a doctor, I watched that replay of Jim Wyatt's, and when he, popped up and did, a circle, a flip, I said, oh, that may have been his groin. It wasn't his knee. So I was really concerned if he was going to be out there. I didn't tweet out anything or anything like that, but I wasn't sure. But the doctor in me was like, man, if that was his groin, he may be out of, a few days. And then he was right back out there today, but he did have a sleeve on. That's why we have the great Rhett Bryan on to tell us all about what he saw out there at practice today. So let's just start right where we left off there, and that is with Traylon Burks. How did he look? He didn't look like anything was really wrong with him. Maybe, maybe he just had a little swelling in his knee, maybe fell on his knee or something, but
Yeah,
he looked fine.
Yeah, he did to me. And listen, I was so glad because I was sitting up there in Coach Mac's perch up there in the new edition.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting up there taking just roll to see who's there and who's not. And to see him come out, I was like, okay, this is great.
Yeah. Ooh.
Because the day before didn't look great. But
It was a great catch. That looked great.
Yes, that looked great. It was the
wow.
after. Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he looked like he didn't see anything, in his gait. Didn't seem like he was very ginger at all, unlike what we had seen him when he was going to the training room the day before. But yeah.
As far as your observations as for today, what did you see out there? I know Willis was running with the twos, kind of. You go start there.
By all indication, Malik was getting rid of the ball in a lot better time than what we'd seen in previous days, and certainly the day before.
At least a little more consistent for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And so certainly that is something to watch as we headed towards Saturday night. Still don't know who's going to start or how that's going to be divvied up. In fact, I think that was the question that Teresa Walker asked Coach Vrabel to begin his presser, and so I'm sure he'll look at that film from today and kind of make a decision probably tomorrow and figure out what's what. But I was over at Field 3 with Mickey because I wanted to, and I wanted to see defense because Big Jeff is over there, and I feel like almost 100% certain that they kept him out of a lot of those activities on Field 3 to keep the powder dry while we're talking about Coach Mack. And that seemed to work for a while until they got into a scuffle at the end of practice. So, but if you're going to get in a fight, that's the way to do it, obviously, is you didn't waste anybody's time. But, yeah, I think Caleb Farley on that field had a much better day than he did the day before. And then, he had the great pick in the corner in field one there in the 2-minute stuff. That was great stuff there. And, I felt like, and now here's the thing, when they got into offensive, defensive line stuff in the middle field, man, Jeff was just motoring over people, man. He's just forklifting people and moving people. You could tell he wasn't like as fired up today as he was yesterday. And maybe that was like, hey, Jeff, you might want to
throttle it back,
tamp that down just a little bit. Let's govern that just a little bit. But he was still bringing it. I like several things I saw today. I'm interested to see some of these young kids again out there on Saturday night. We had a chance to talk to the offensive and defensive assistants a couple of days ago, and Bobby King, the inside linebackers coach, who was Zach Cunningham's coach in Houston, he was very complimentary of Jack Gibbons, who they call Dr. Gibby, and number 50. and also Chance Campbell, the pick that they got from Ole Miss. He wore the green dot for the first time last Thursday night, and he was very complimentary about what he saw and what he was able to put on film, because that's a lot to digest, putting that thing on. And because you're the quarterback of the defense, basically, right? And so to see how he was very confident that they would build, get some good stuff in these 2 days of work, and then get some opportunities Saturday night at Nissan Stadium. So I'm interested to see some of that stuff. I want to see more Hassan Haskins in the running back.
Did you see when he ran over Logan Ryan?
Bowled over him.
I said he went into a helicopter.
Too, huh? Yeah.
It was not. I can't believe he didn't get up at least like push him, or it's like, hey man, what are you doing? He got up and just trotted on off.
And that's the thing. Hassan, he is a physical player. You see why they drafted him. Yeah. I told y'all guys when they drafted him, he was voted the toughest guy on his team at Michigan last year.
Oh, you can see him run down on special teams on kickoff.
And that's why he will make this roster just for that alone, because he could be a core special teams player. But I think he'll be a nice place and get some opportunities to spell Derrick Henry when he needs it.
I tell you one thing that stands out right before I get you to Mickey there is that it's going to be some really good players get released. They're deep at some positions, and I think even when you're having these scrimmages, other teams may end up picking them up because they've seen them. I'm gonna just use the receivers. Like, they have no one that can guard our slot guys who were playing there. Phillips, Kinsey, Woods. They have dominated the one-on-ones every single day. They can't guard them. They have all these 6'1" guys with long arms, look like, oh, that's what you want your corners look like. Well, they can't guard them. They can't guard any of those guys that are shifty, movie guys.
In other words, they don't have a Caleb Farley.
They don't have that guy. Right. So those guys may, if they're not around, they will have opportunities because they're going to see it on tape like, hey, man, these guys here, man, I don't know where they got them, but who are these?
And that's a great point, Blaine, because that's something else that's a byproduct of these joint practices is that you can see a dude up close. Because obviously you've got, Anthony Pastrana and his crew out there, and you're getting film on everything. So that film is going to show up. You're going to say, hey, number so-and-so, that's kind of a flash right there. Let's, yeah.
Yeah, so we're on with Red Brian from Titans Radio.
I've felt like Tannehill to Hooper is going to be a big thing this year. And after even what little bit of team, I've been watching the defense mostly, but what little bit of team stuff I've seen, and today I understand I missed him throwing to Hooper a lot more. Boy, it sure seems like that is a ready-made connection, and that's a sure reception, and that's 4, 5, 6, 7 yards. And last time I checked, if you can get a lot of those in a game, you keep the chains moving.
There's no question. And listen, in as critical as everyone was of Ryan Tannehill after the playoff game, the one thing that the three of us have all said together is that the tight end room was a little more pedestrian last year. And listen, I like Anthony Ferguson, but he regressed a little bit, and that's why he's not here. The Austin Hooper signing, loved that. Chico Okonkwo draft pick, I love that.
Touchdown today from Malik Willis in the red zone. Nice pass there.
But to your point, I think it's not a cure-all, because obviously once your line gets set, then let's see what happens. But it's got to be something that helped number 17. It's got to be. I mean, we saw it. Blaine, you saw it every week with Steve McNair and Frank Wycheck. You saw it every time. And it was, Frank was reliable, and that was the safety valve, and that got another set of downs until Eddie could run it, or they get it to Dice or whoever.
Are you concerned because it's all young guys? Greg Maben has been the oldest guy they've had at cornerback. We see 21 and 3 and 26. I'm not so concerned about 26. His jump last year from year 1 to year 2 was exactly what you want to see, a guy from year 1 to year 2, completely different player. How concerned are you that the top 3 guys are 1, 2, and 3 year guys at cornerback?
Well, I think it depends on the progression of Caleb Farley. I think because, and I've said it all summer, if that guy's a serious contributor in this defense is going to be very good. I think he's the X factor in this. But now, to your point, I was so much looking forward to seeing Roger McCreary last Thursday night in Baltimore, and that didn't happen. He had missed a couple of practices and was out. Looks like he's going to get his chance to have some playing time Saturday night, and I'm really looking forward to that, because that's a guy that will take some stuff from these last 2 days and apply it, because he played in the big boy league in the Southeastern Conference, and did well. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, you'd be lying if you said you weren't at least a little apprehensive or a little anxious that, it's like there's a lot of young men out there. But if they go out there and do their stuff, I mean, hey.
With that front four that we got to, hopefully that helps out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But talk a little bit about, I want to
Brett Bryan, our guest.
Yes, no doubt. Just the rotation that they've been using. Mickey's kind of talked about a little bit at the cornerback position. I've heard different stories, and I'm like, well, it looks like Caleb Farley's there, and then, McCrary looks like he's been in the slot. I don't know if him and 24 have been out there together molding with Fulton on the other side. So kind of take us through what you've seen in rotation.
Now,
sometimes they change it daily, but
Molden came back a couple of days ago. He was not out there today, so he's clearly working through something. And in fact, he even told us that he's working through some pain threshold issues there with whatever he's got going on. But you're right. I mean, I'll look up, and sometimes Caleb Farley is with the twos on the outside, and sometimes I'll look up and he'll be with the ones. But yeah, and I go back to what Dean Pease said when they brought him in, and what Mike Vrabel said the day he was hired, is that front multiplicity of everything. And I think they're just looking for all of those pieces and parts because, like Roger McCrary, he played both inside and outside. Now, he predominantly played outside, right?
Yes,
but
in college.
I think they're looking for versatile guys like that to mix it up. And the intriguing thing about Farley is I think they're just trying to figure out maybe where best he works. I don't know.
He has been, like Blaine mentioned on the rotation, sometimes 21's outside when 3's off the field. Sometimes he's inside. They were in the dime or either nickel or dime yesterday. At one point, 3 and 21 and 24 and 26 were all on the field. They had all 4 of them out there at one point.
And 31 and 37 back there. That's a handsome-looking secondary. I was looking at that.
That looks nice.
Yeah,
that does. Might be the best looking, potentially.
And we were looking at it today
ever
on Field 3 and red zone stuff. And that's without Molden in there. And Mark Mariani was at practice day, and he was looking at me. He goes, "Golly, that's a good-looking group." I'm like, "Yes, it is."
Him and Nate were there.
At Nate Washington. Yeah.
Well, I was going to add to that because I think someone said he got a pick, but I didn't see it, and that was the Lonnie Johnson kid that they picked up off waivers from the Texans.
He got picked yesterday.
That's what I said. So how has he looked? What number is he? First, let's start there.
39.
39, okay.
And, he's a long dude.
He's long. I remember him at Kentucky.
Right.
He's a good player. I'm shocked that he was a second-round pick. He's got some time. I think he was kind of a tweener, safety, corner.
He played both at Houston, yes. And so you have that connection with Anthony Midget, the secondary coach.
Yeah, he was the only guy that he's worked with before, not Vrabel.
I talked to him after practice yesterday, and he said, and I know Coach Vrabel, he recruited me out of high school to go to Ohio State. So,
so this guy
he came and visited me, and so there's a connection there. But yeah, he's a tall, long dude. And it's funny because he goes, "Man, I just got in the night before last." He got in Tuesday night, and he said, "I didn't even realize we were scrimmaging against another team, another joint practice till they basically got in the meeting room and told him." He said, "But yeah, I was glad to be able to make a play, and I'm just out here trying to make more of them."
Right, trying to figure out the defense as well. But, hey, did you get a chance, Mickey, I didn't even see him with the club out there with Gillespie.
Tyree Gillespie, yes. I thought, because I said to Ron Slay, I was like, dude, they took a guy with a club on his left hand. Was that a part of the deal?
I met him in the parking lot. I knew it was him.
Yeah.
Because I did my research on him. And so he was walking into the building with his suitcase rolling it yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
And I said, "Gillespie." And he turns around, and I kind of meet him halfway and had a conversation. I saw he had like a brace on his wrist, like a bowling looking, type brace.
Yeah.
So I knew something was going on there. But just having a conversation with him, just talking about what I saw out of him, and only thing that I didn't say, I think he's going to be a perfect dime guy. To be honest, what I saw, very aggressive natured, kind of remind me of myself. But when he's playing in space, like 2 deep, 1 deep in the deep hole, he gets really impatient. And I watched him versus Alabama, Florida. He gets so impatient, he'd get out of the hole when he was the free safety.
Okay.
And then they would throw right there because he would go wherever the shoulders turned. He was gone before the ball even got there. Then they would turn right back and throw right where he was supposed to be.
He was
predetermined, trying to figure out.
He's directional delivery keys too early.
Right. He was doing it because he's far away instead of up close to the line. So it's a difference. You can be impatient close, but back deep. You are the safety valve. I had to learn that too because Peyton Manning got me. That's what I said earlier. he fake pump one way and I'm gone.
Blaine
Woo!
Peyton Manning got a lot of people, so
I mean,
that's a big boat. you're in.
obviously. But I was just using that myself as
Sure,
an example, and I
sure.
had to go through that maturation process. But I told him I like everything I see. So I missed some open field tackles, but everything else, he brought the hammer.
He's number 25.
Yep.
And, I mean, clearly they like something or they wouldn't have traded for him. They sent a late-round pick, and we still don't know the details of that, I don't think. But, yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, dude, they traded for this guy. He coming in with a club. He looked like Cowboy Bob Orton, the wrestler, with a big cast on his arm.
90s
Yeah,
Oilers
Missouri-
Blaine Bishop out there.
Missouri
Yes,
guy.
that too.
Oh, my. Yeah, I had like 3 clubs 3 years in a row, but I guess I kept breaking stuff. But, offensively, I'm going to just say this. I haven't said this, not enough anyway. The offense, with Tannehill running it, it looks like they're more efficient passing the football, and they're throwing more vertical plays at times, more than I ever can recall in training camp.
I think that part of that is the Robert Woods effect. And I think, Nick Westbrook-Akine, I think that guy is starting to make steps forward. And then you pepper in the Racing McMaths, and then we're talking about Traylon Burks. I mean, he's got weapons at his disposal, and now he's got a cache of tight ends that we've talked about. So, yeah. And is that the Tim Kelly effect in this? I don't know.
Assuming so, but
I mean,
I don't know.
It looks different, though. You're right.
It feels and looks different.
That was some bonus. Rhett Bryan, executive producer of Titans Radio. Thank you, sir.
Glad to do it, and looking forward to coverage on Saturday. And I know we'll go on the air at 5, but you guys are handling it. What time are you starting off on Saturday?
It'll be 3 hours before that. So 2?
Hey, now, look at you.
2. No. Yes. No. You start at 5. So
Yeah,
3,
we start at 5, kickoff at 6.
3 to 5.
All
3
righty
to
then.
5.
The League
3.
Company countdown to kickoff.
That's it.
And as always, when Rhett Bryan comes on, always keep your powder dry.
All right, when we come back, Derrick Henry, we didn't see him practice, but he did talk after practice, and he talked about dealing with his workload this season, and it sounds like it's going to be a big one. We'll be right back. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone, getting ready to hand things off to 3HL on this Thursday. Titans on the air right here on The Zone on Saturday. Ooh, here you go. Maybe you want to go to the game. Maybe you just want to, like, take your radio and listen at the game because you would be there at the game. And if you're caller number 5 now, it's your chance to win tickets to see the Titans host the Bucs this Saturday at Nissan Stadium, 615-737-1045. Oh, man, the return of Titans Ticket Thursday on The Zone. I love it. Now, you will not see Derrick Henry. He'll probably look nice in some shorts and a T-shirt. But it was,
well, what? I know you about to. Derrick Henry did do a little bit in practice, by the way. Yeah,
I was watching the defense.
Yes, he did one-on-ones blocking.
Yep.
And then thudding up a little bit with the other team.
Levante
Davis, they kind of matched up a little bit, but never nothing in the team setting.
Okay, though.
He had a really good set against Levante David. Yeah, just some blocking drills.
By the way, at one point today, Levante David ran a route with Hilliard late in the team period, and he yelled, wow, what did he say?
I do this for a living.
I do this for a living, son. I just ran the route for you. Yeah. This was after running foot for foot with him saying, you too slow. So he was feeling it today. Derrick Henry was feeling it. He spoke to the press, but he got to talking about workload. Thought this was interesting, Derrick Henry.
Individually on the sand, and you're looking for motivation to dig a little bit deeper. What motivates you individually, like during the summer?
To get it done, to get out of that sand pit, really, because I'm tired. But no, I'm just working, trying to improve, trying to stay in shape, and get the most, out of being in the sand pit, or if I'm doing something in the weight room, or when I'm in individual or anything I practice, I'm just looking to improve each and every day, and that's all you can do as a player.
Obviously, a lot of that work is to make you as fresh in the fourth quarter as you are in the first quarter. How much pride do you take in that, especially in the fourth quarter when guys are tired and not as willing to tackle you?
Yeah, I think that's why Coach Brable has me on this plan, just so when it's time to go, I'm ready to go, and when they need me to answer, I'm there to answer. Whether it's the first quarter, second, third, or fourth, I'm just willing to go out there and make plays and do what I can to help the team.
Couple more. From an endurance standpoint, when you're not taking hits and you're not having those pads hit, do you still feel like you're conditioning for that readiness down in the fourth quarter because you're not taking those hits?
When I'm not here, I'm working out. When I'm here, I'm working out. I'm running. So I'm always, trying to be in shape and be ready when that time comes.
It's Derrick Henry from earlier today. When I'm not here, I'm working out. When I'm here, I'm working out. Coach Rabel's got me on this program to get me ready for here's my take on that. And it doesn't matter that they drafted a running back early this year. I think Dontrell Hilliard is a nice change of pace back and a versatile guy, and he's been getting a lot of reps. I think Derrick Henry's still going to get it 28 times a game if they can give it to him.
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely going to happen.
Nothing's going to change.
You know what? I always get intrigued when they're asking about what motivates. that is kind of an interesting question because he is self-motivated. That you don't reach this level in what he has done. Yeah. And what he has done to be already motivated and finding all these little things to keep driving him to be better and better version of what he was the year before. So guess what is driving now? He won't tell you. It's, I'm going to show you I'm back. And guess what? Not only am I back, but I'm better. I am better than before the injury. That's the type of dude you're dealing with. So, it's kind of mute to him, but yeah, he's going to, absolutely, him and Tannehill, I think, will be better because of the ultra competitive nature of their failures, if you want to give it that term. Losing the last game, regardless how it happened. Those are your two leaders of your team. They drive the bus. They're going to come back better. Rest assured of that. And I believe that because the great ones and the good players really do. They do. And you heard Tannehill. He said, yeah, we went to therapy. Yep. It bothered them that much. It eats at you. So I ain't going to even talk about how much it eats at me. We lost that Super Bowl. So, yeah. In your defense, you didn't get to take part in the second half or so? Oh, no, the middle third quarter. Middle third quarter. Oh, yeah. So I was out there for a quarter and a half I missed. Could Derrick Henry be we never talked about this. This 252, 3HL's coming up next. Could Derrick Henry be even better now? Because national guys writing it off, times I'm going to be no good. Could he be better? he could be better, but I want to make sure that the O-line is better. You can only be as good as your O-line. He can only run over so many people. They just got to get that squared away. Once that happens, then they're just going to run their offense. And hopefully they'll throw, I just said, a tad more than they did last year, so they'll be prepared when they can't get Henry off in the playoffs. So, yeah, and then that'll make it easier for Henry. Got to play the curveballs because what's expected in the playoffs, sometimes you do the unexpected and then come back to the expected. Got to play cat and mouse when you're playing in the playoffs because they're going to prepare for everything you do, and they're going to hang their hat on it. Guess what? We can hang our hat on it, throwing it or running, and that's what you want them to think and believe.
I think and believe our time is up for today. No practice coverage tomorrow, obviously. But Buck Rising is going to join us. Josh Ward is going to join us to talk Vols. We'll get into this. Maybe we'll get into this tomorrow. Vrabel talking about the quarterback reps and what they're doing for number 7, the rookie. We can get into all that, but we got to go right now.
But in the meantime,
in between time,
King Kong!
Peace.